Now that we've added some quantitative data to it, I just realized I added my example data of the website visits in the wrong step. So what you can do always is grab these. These are cards. You can move them around. I can grab any card and move it around between columns, between the different lanes. And by the way, there's a little undo redo here. There are also things like I could color it in if I like to and say this is important. I want to make it red. Because that's what I want to focus on right now, and so on and so forth. Well, I now want to add some qualitative data. So what I do is I add another lane, and I choose the pain point lane. Now, all of these are customizable. That's why they're called custom lanes. You can add more to them. You can add different ones to it. But I want to add now my first pain point. And I gotta move that over to complete application form because that is the first pain point that I want to add. It's this friction that customers have during the identity verification process. So I added some description here. I could now add a priority, say, yes, this is high priority. They would get loads of complaints. Status is we are just researching it. By the way, you can customize also these status to make it fit for your organization. Assignee, I'm alone in my account. Still, I take myself. I could also tag this, leave it out for now, but I like to score it. And we can choose impact, reach, and cost for pain points. Again, this is customizable. You can adapt this to whatever your organization uses to prioritize. I know the impact is quite high and that quite a few people are affected by it. It also has impact on cost because once it doesn't work, they call us in our call center and we get quite some amount of calls to it. Now, good enough. Let's say save. And we see our first pain point here. Now, I want to add two more. So I'll be a bit quicker now. Just click on Add Cards, give it a title. So that is about, well, this manual re-entry of repetitive forms and so on. I have a little bit of context around it that I add. Priority, it's not that priority right now. We didn't start with it yet. Impact is, yeah, it's there. It's not as bad as the others. Reach, it affects basically everyone. Cost a little bit because it affects also then our back office if stuff is missing, if they need to reach out to it and so on. Now I want to add a third one to it, and that is about the account verification. I'm going to add another step here, another pain point at this step then, and that is basically, we know from customer complaints that we do too many follow-ups, and that is actually customers really don't like. Customers really would like to know what is the timeline. By the way, if you like, of course, you can also add a bit of visual here, so I just as an example show how this could look like if you focus a little bit on that. Anyway, priority is medium, status is in research, assignee is myself, impact is not that severe. It's there, it affects almost everyone, but the cost is rather minimal. So this is really just one of those hiccup moments in the journey. Now what we see now here are different pain points. You see already what happens if you use this rich text editor in here. Now what we could do is I just mark all three of them. You get a little bulk editing down here. I could now change how they look. I could add more text to it and so on. I just change it to a more compact version, or I can choose, well, to show the full description maybe. I want to see the scores. I want to see who's assigned to it. So give me all of it and done. Now we see the whole text, and there you see now the difference, what happens if you add a little bit more love to the description. You see clearly it stands out immediately. Now in my next video, I will show you how you can then use these outside of a journey map. But that already gives you a really nice overview. Now, in the beginning, we had this emotional journey, and I said we leave it for now. Now that we added the first pain points, we can actually use them to also adapt the journey and say, this is a pain point. We know some things are good. We know others are worse. And you can really use your data to visualize and say what's good, what's bad. It's just such a nice visual element to clearly share a story and say, these are the pain points we're focusing on.